Hello, hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Mackenzie and this is I'll Give You the Books. Today we are talking about all of the queer books that are on my TBR. And let me tell you, there are a lot of them. We've got popular books now, popular books that were popular way back when that I never ended up reading. We've got random books just off the side of the road that I picked up in like little free libraries or book swaps or things like that. So I have a whole variety here. So without further ado, we are going to jump right in. I'm starting off with That Summer Feeling. This is a book about a girl who goes to summer camp. Like, it's for adults though. It's like an adult summer camp type thing. And she's divorced and she like has a crush on one of the guys there. But then something happens with like her bunkmate and stuff and ends up with her instead, maybe? I don't know. I don't know exactly what it's about, but that sounds about right. And then the next one is Cemetery Boys. This one, the main character tries to like rise his cousin from the dead to give him peace or something, but instead of like making his cousin rise from the dead, he brought back somebody else who is a little bit less happy to be there, I suppose, and isn't going to like rest easy. So it's going to be a little bit more between the two of them to get him to like rest his soul. And then I have Don't Want You Like a Best Friend. This is the fun cover of it. I don't know which cover it is, one of like the special edition covers, but this is like the regular cover of it. Emma R. Albin just came out with another book as well. She came out with I Don't Want You Like a Best Friend, and I don't know, she came out with another book too. But this book is set in 1857, and these two girls who are in like a bachelorette type thing, kind of like a Bridgerton type ball. They're trying to get courted. But rather than getting courted themselves, they try to set up their parents, and within setting up their parents, they end up falling for each other. I also have Time to Shine. This is another fun cover. Same brand. I think this is the Foxglove brand, but I'm not 100% sure, so do not quote me on that. This is like the regular cover by Rachel Reed, and it is about two hockey players, one of them who is in need of housing now that he's on like a new hockey team and somebody else takes him in, and they become pals, or maybe more than pals, who knows. And then I also have Something Fabulous by Alexis Hall. This one is similar to Don't Want You Like a Best Friend, I think, because one of the main characters is, what's it called when you're, like when you're supposed to marry somebody? Like wed, or is like betrothed. They're betrothed. So one of the main characters, he's betrothed to this woman, this princess, and she does not want him. And so she like runs away, and him and her brother end up going together to go and get her. But on that little journey of trying to find her, he falls in love with the brother instead. And then I have Bruised. This one is a book about an asexual person, I believe. So it's like queer, but not in the typical um, like I feel like most queer representation is like gay or lesbian. It's not a lot of like bi representation. There's not a lot of trans representation or asexual representation. So I'm really glad that this one has asexual representation. But this one is about somebody who joins a roller skating derby and ends up learning a lot of things about herself, and it's like a self journey, self-love type of thing. So this one's about falling in love with yourself, and I really like that because queer representation doesn't just have to be in romance books. Next up, I have Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. I read The Charm Offensive by her and I was absolutely obsessed, so I'm really excited to read this one. I'm not really sure about what this one's about. It looks like she's finding work at a coffee shop. Yeah. Finding work at a coffee shop and tries to fall in love while there. So she only has a week to do so, though. I've got to be honest and say I don't know a lot of information about any of these books, but I am just really excited to share them with you. So if you know any of them or have read any of them, please let me know because I want all the tea. Another one that I don't know a lot about, this one's by Jenna Voris, and it's called Every Time You Hear That Song. I know nothing about this. I did, in fact, read the back cover, but I feel like it didn't give me a lot. I'm going to read it for you, and you can, like, determine for yourself. It says, 17-year-old aspiring journalist Darren Purchase has been a lifelong fan of country music legend Deckley Castle, who's as famous for her classic hits as she is for her partnership with songwriter McKinley Hooper. The same McKinley who mysteriously blacked out of the limelight at the height of their careers, never to be heard from again. Now Deckley's televised funeral marks the unveiling of her long-awaited time capsule. But when it's revealed to be empty, a trail of scavenger hunt clues unfolds, leading to a whopping cash prize for whoever finds the real capsule. Darren knows there's a story there, and she's going to be the one to break it, even if it means a spontaneous road trip with her coworker Kendall. Flashback to 1963, when a runaway Deckley had her sights set on fame and glory. As she claws her way to the top over the years that follow, it's McKinley's lyrics that help rocket her to stardom. But as their relationship evolves beyond the professional, it threatens everything Deckley has worked for. What else will she sacrifice to hold on to her dreams? So some of it is in, like, the 1963 and some of it's in present day, and I don't exactly know how it's queer. I just know that it is. So I don't know who falls in love with whom, which is different than the rest of them, because the rest of them, it's, like, very clear as to, like, who ends up together. Like, in general, that's romance books. You know who's going to end up together at the end, but you want to know how it happens, and that's why you read the book. But for this, I just genuinely don't have a lot of information, and I don't know who's going to end up together or how it's going to happen. So that's, like, one of the reasons why I'm really excited to read this one. And then this next one is Queerly Beloved. I picked this up at Book Swap, and it is about a queer baker, and she is moving on from her ex, and she, like, takes a gig for a bridesmaid, and it ends up turning into, like, a full-time business. And so she's trying to balance that business and herself and, like, finding herself again. So it seems like another one where it's, like, finding herself and all of that. I am interested as well. It is, like, a woman, and I can't tell if this is a woman or a man. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to judge, of course. Some people, like, dress more masc or dress more femme, and so I can't tell if it's, like, bi representation and she ends up with a man, or if it's queer representation and she ends up with a woman. Bi is queer, lesbian or bi representation. But either way, this is queer, and she does end up with somebody. We'll find out who. And last up on my list, I have the entire stack of the Alexandra Bellafleur books. So I've got Count Your Lucky Stars, Hang the Moon, and Written in the Stars. And I'm pretty sure I read them backwards. Written in the Stars is the first one, Hang the Moon is the second one, and Count Your Lucky Stars is the third one. And this one definitely is, like, lesbian, and then bi representation, and lesbian representation again, I believe. I don't know if both of them are lesbians or if they identify as queer or bi or how they identify, but we are going to find out. So I love the covers of these. These ones are really cute. I have been told to read them 1,000,001 times, so I probably will sometime soon, but I have not yet. And one of the reasons why is because I'm pretty sure it's in third person. Yeah, it's in third person. So I think that's the only reason why I haven't read them yet, is because it's in third person and I'm not a third person girly, but like some of these are written in first person, so I'll definitely be picking those up first. But as a whole, these are books that I am really excited for, and I figured since I have so many books on my bookshelf, I might as well go through some of them and see what we all have to say about them. So if you have read any of these or have other queer books that you would recommend for me, drop them down below, and I will talk to you all later. Thank you for joining me today. Bye!